All right, welcome to episode 2 of customizing the FPS template in Roblox. I was supposed to post yesterday, but I had some things come up. Plus, had some troubles actually with the pistol. I'll explain a little further because I had to change it. In today's episode, we are going to be implementing the aim system. I'm also going to tweak it a little bit so we can have more control over our bobbing effect, and I'm also going to add a zoom in effect for when you aim in. Then I think I'll fine tune instead of like a blanket transition speed. I'll have each weapon have their own transition speed and like show how to do that and stuff. So let me explain what happened. So I was, recording, and I was up to the pistol, and the the model, the sights were not lined up, and it was driving me crazy. And like I tried everything. So I figured it was just whoever made the model, it did not line it up correctly. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make another model, and that's what I did. So I might as well show it. Let's see. Pistol. Yeah, so it's different from the last one. I haven't tested aiming, so I hope I hope this is lined up. But from what I can see, it looks a lot better than the other model I was using. So we're gonna test and see if this works, and I can actually record and give you guys this video. Like it was driving me crazy. Like I just I must have spent like an hour and a half. I was like, I'll just cut out whatever. But it was just like there was no saving it. It was the model. It happens. All right, so let's just jump right in. First things first. I'm not gonna be like explaining much because I have two videos on how to implement this aim system, and it's basically the same code, just a little fine tuning. So I'm not gonna be like stopping as much to explain. So let's just jump right in. First things first, we got to make a couple attributes. So let's do that. And we're going to call this aim offset. And we're going to make this a C frame type. Save. We're going to be also putting a couple more attributes in today. So we might as well do that. FOV. And we'll make this a number. I'll explain why I made this a number here in a second. But we need another attribute for our aim speed. Now, all these things that I named, that has to be spelled exactly in each custom model. So we're going to make this a number. And now we're going to go to the pistol and basically do the same thing. Just make sure everything is aimed correctly. Aim offset. Let's make this a C frame. Save. What did I call FOV? Make this a number. Um, aim. Aim. Speed. Make this a number. Now, we're going to go into our replicated storage before I dive in a little bit. So I'm getting this default FOV from right here. I'm going to guess that they're using 70 all throughout. So that's what I'm going to be basing the FOV on. If I feel like it doesn't look right, I could, it's as simple as adjusting the numbers. Okay, so let's adjust a couple of these. I'm not going to do the aim offset just yet, but in theory, I'm going to say a pistol should aim faster than an AK. So I'm going to make this a 2.7. And also, I feel like you should be able to see farther with a default iron sights on an AK than default iron sights on a pistol. So that's kind of like the thought process. So if I'm basing the default on 70, I'm gonna say 50 for the FOV for the AK, and we'll say 65 for the pistol. Okay. Um, and then the aim speed on the pistol should be faster. So I'm gonna make that a 4. Now, if I feel like it's too fast, we can always adjust. It's as simple as just changing these numbers. Um, I think that's all the attributes. Yep. Okay, so we're good here for now. We're gonna go back into our constants module though, and just like in the last video, well, the last aim video, we're gonna call these attributes in this constants. Okay, so we're gonna say aim offset equals aim offset, and then you could say aim transition speed equals um aim speed. Perfect. And now we got to call our do I want to call the FOV though? Yeah, actually. We'll say aim FOV equals FOV. Nope, that won't work. I was stuck in caps lock. Okay, there we go. Aim FOV. And that should be good. Let me just double check. Yeah, I think everything's all spelled correctly. Now, I also want to adjust I want to implement using a controller as well. I'm not gonna do like touch inputs. So if you want to do that, it's as simple as kind of figuring out in the scripts here. You have the touch input controller here. I imagine I haven't really dived into it that much, but I imagine that's where um, you would make it work. I think, but just for simplicity, we're just gonna implement something for a keyboard and a controller. So we'll come down here and we'll say keyboard aim key equals enum dot user type dot mouse button 2, and then we'll say gamepad aim key equals enum dot keycode dot what was it, button L2. Yeah. All right, so that should be it for our constants here. We just double check. Yeah. Okay, so let's get out of this and let's go into our replicated storage, into our blaster, into our scripts folder, and let's find our view model controller. Okay, and just like my aim video, we're gonna basically do the same thing here. We'll put aiming equals false in the self, and we're gonna want aim progress equals 0. Okay, and then we'll make some space and make start aiming and stop aiming functions. So let me do that real quick. View model controller start aiming, and we'll say self dot aiming equals true, and for stop aiming, stop aiming, and then self aiming equals false. Um. Okay, so before we do anything in the update function here, we are going to add a check. So we're going to say, give me a second, I have my notes up. We'll say if not camera end or, just kidding, or not self.model, then return. Okay, that's our little check. And so now we need to, we're going to be implementing a little bit more control over the bobbing, especially when it comes to aiming and not aiming. So we're going to come down here and make some space. And we'll make a couple new variables. Min aim bobbing. And we'll make that equal 2. And we will another variable called aim factor, because now we have to factor in the aim. And we'll make that equal aim minus self.aim progress, because we're going to want to flip it. Aim progress. And now we're going to want to scale it for when we aim. So we're going to have to lerp. So we're going to say local scale factor. I don't like how that is. Scale factor equals lerp. We're going to want our minimum bobbing to our aim factor. Well, first we have to put 1, then our aim factor. Close that up. And then we got to just come to our offset here. And we just got to multiply by our scale factor now. And that should be it. We're going to have to test that just to double check. And that should be it. Make some space here. We're going to make a couple new variables for our aim offset and the FOV. So we'll say local local aim offset equals self.blaster get attribute. Make sure I spelled that correctly. And we're going to want our constants.aim offset. We're going to want our aim speed. And we'll say self.blaster get attribute aim transition speed. And actually, what I'm going to do is, just in case that somewhere else is messing with the field of view for the camera, I'm going to make a default field of view, default FOV, and I'm going to make that equal to 70. And then we'll call our aim FOV, and we'll say self.blaster get attribute. What did I call it? Aim FOV. Okay. Okay, now we can start implementing these things. We're going to say if self aiming, then we're going to say self aim progress equals math min self aim progress plus our aim speed, and times that by our delta time. And then we can say else. Oh, we almost forgot. We gotta add a 1 here. Okay. self.inProgress equals math.max self.inProgress minus our aim speed, and we'll multiply that by our delta time 0. Perfect. I guess we could do the FOV first. Yeah, we'll just get that out of the way. Field of view equals we have to lerp. We're gonna lerp. Lerp is very useful. So all we gotta do now is we're gonna lerp from A to B, and we're gonna use our aim progress as our parameter. It's that simple. So we want to go from our default FOV to our aim FOV, and then we want to plug in our self.aimProgress. Perfect. Okay. So now we can make a local lerp frame equals lerp, and then we want to go from our constants dot view model offset dot position to our aim offset dot position, and plug in our self.aimProgress. And then we're going to want a new C frame. So new frame equals cframe.new. And we'll just plug in our not out. Oh my God. Lerp frame. And then we can say local final frame equals camera.cframe. Multiply that by our new frame. Perfect. So now you just come down here, plug in our final frame, and we can times that. No, we want to add our bobbing offset. All right, that should be it. Now we can go to our blaster controller module here, and we can go into our self. We'll put aiming equals false. Now we want to go to, we're going to find our initialize. All the way down here. Here it is. We're going to find input began. There it is. We'll come to the end of this, come up one, press enter, and then we say if input object using per type equals constants dot keyboard. No. Yes, maybe. Hang on. Yes, this sounds about right. Or put object dot equals constants dot gamepad aim key. I think we're gonna have to test this. Self dot aiming equals true, and then we can call our view model controller start aiming, and we'll pass true to it. Now, before I could continue, I'm gonna test this real quick. Okay, so it worked. Hang on. Now, let me grab my controller. in. Okay, so the controller is not working. Where did I... Maybe it's key code. Try that. Let's try it. Perfect. All right, so we got our keyboard and controller to work. So now this will work for consoles as well. Okay, let's go back. And now we have to set up for when we stop aiming. So we're going to find this table.insert, find the end of it, make some space, and we'll make another table.insert. And we'll just copy everything that's above, self.connections. And then we could say, I gotta get out of the way, thank you. Use input service dot input ended colon connect function. And then we could say if input dot user input type equals constants dot keyboard aim key or input dot key code equals constants dot gamepad aim key, then we can say self dot aiming equals false, and then we can call our view model stop aiming and pass false to it. All right, let's double check everything. Okay, so you can see how it's kind of zooming in, so it looks like everything's working. And then it like finishes the zoom right at the end. That works good. Test this out, make sure. Grab the controller, double check that. It seems to work. It's zooming in. Okay, perfect. Unplug this. All right, so for the final stretch here, we gotta kind of find our X, Y, and Z for our aim offset. So a really interesting way to really mess with it is to aim in and then press escape. And then we can find our tool, find the attribute, and then just start -1, press enter, -1.3. What I'm going to do is actually set the FOV to 70 just for testing purposes. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to want to line this up as best as we can. So I'm just going to kind of fast forward this part. So yeah, just try to find your X, Y, and Z. A good rule of thumb is set your X to 0. Your Y is usually going to be a negative number, and same thing with your Z. So I usually start around -1 for my Y, and I usually start around -1.3 for my for Z. That looks the best for Z, in my opinion. I mean, you can mess with it; it's no big deal. But this is just where I like to start. So I'll see you guys here in a second. All right, before I continue, I want to share that I'm pretty much at the maximum for the X 0.001. So it won't move over any farther. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this and kind of adjust the model itself. So we're going to find our view model, put it in the workspace, and looks like I got to go to the left a bit. So we're going to find our blaster here. And we're just going to move it over to the left. That should do it. Oh yeah. Do attribute here. 0.93. That's pretty close. 0.001. How's that look? I mean, it's pretty close to dead center. We can mess with it. Anyways, I just wanted to share that. I'm gonna fast forward again. Okay, so let's test everything out. As you can see, these don't have the attribute, so this is what it's gonna look like. So if this happens to you, you know, like, okay, I messed up on an attribute somewhere. So if they do have the attribute, it should all work. So we aim in. Maybe I want a little bit more zoom. I mean, I kind of like the aim speed where it is. That feels kind of nice. So the bobbing feels pretty good. Like just like walking around. In the aim video, the like just walking around was kind of stiff. But this kind of feels pretty good. Then when I aim, yeah, that feels pretty good. Um, yeah, this looks, yeah, that looks pretty good. It's got a little bit of zoom, which is actually kind of perfect. It can go a little faster. Yeah, we can adjust that. So I want a little bit more zoom. The speed is fine on the 8K. I just want a little bit more zoom. So let's try 40. And then 65 feels good, but I want a faster pistol. It feels pretty good. Maybe come down a little bit. See how the AK looks. Ooh, that's pretty good. Yeah, I actually like that a lot. That's good zoom. This feels good. Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. Actually, you know what? Let's test. Always double check. We'll test the controller. Make sure that's working correctly. Yeah, that looks good. Everything. Yeah, this looks great. This actually feels very nice. All right. All right. I think that's gonna do it for today's episode. Kind of a quick one. Kind of zoom through it. But like I said, you know, stuff that I already have out there, I'm just gonna kind of speed run it. I tried to slow down in parts where, you know, kind of adding a couple things. I think the FOV was a nice touch. Shout out to whoever suggested that actually. I'll have to I'll edit the comment in the video. That was actually a nice little touch. I like that a lot actually. So I think in the next video we're gonna do some more customization. I think what we'll do is we'll customize the crosshair. I think what I want to do is not only change the color. White's kind of basic. I think what I want to do is kind of tween. That's what I'm thinking. Tweening the crosshair, so every time it shoots, it kind of moves away. So I think that's what we're gonna do for the next episode. Depending how fast that goes, I might start adjusting how like the muzzle flash and the color of the bullets, because I think the default right now is just blue. Yeah, we'll change that. Um, and then we can start working on GUI stuff. Adding reserve ammo and stuff like that, and maybe some maybe like a basic like ammo refill. We'll see. Got a lot of ideas going, but yeah. If you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.